Good night, fellow punters. The clock on the wall says 8:36 on the eve of Galway Festival 2023. A wet evening here, a wet day. I heard from a couple that's in Galway as well that it's raining there, buckling down. So that'll probably change the going. The going could be yielding to soft, maybe soft tomorrow. So it could change my view of things, but I went on the ground being yielding soft in places. Tired enough today, late enough night, but a good night last night. I was at a 50th wedding party in a local pub. Good crack, good singing. Wasn't drinking Guinness, I was drinking Coors Light. It wasn't too bad. The last time I was in that pub, I had a middling pint of Guinness and I just couldn't tackle it last night. So I looked about and there wasn't many drinking it, so I switched. Course, all right. I wouldn't be in love to have more than I had, but that was about the limit. But I think I had about 5 pints. It was enough. It's sort of a heartburn after it. Made a few pounds as well today. It was funny. Well, it's not funny, but you have to laugh at things. The last time I had asked a fella to a Shrudy, I said, give me one for tomorrow. That was a few weeks ago. And he said, nap a different kind. Then he came back 20 minutes later. He says, no, after further revision and looking at videos, he picked the one. So I went with it as well. I looked at it and I said, yeah, I think you're right. A different kind won it. I went against him again today with Pulligan Green and a different kind one. Otherwise, we would have hit the hat trick because I was sweet enough with the other two, being bus horses from before. But Pulligan Green, until he learns how to jump, he won't be winning anything. He's a good old engine, all right, but jumping too clumsily. Brian Hughes winning, but Poker Face, that was 5-2 yesterday evening, 9-4. It went off 5-4. That's 3 for 3 at Pontefract now. So I had straight forecast done with the one that finished third. He would have finished second only for he didn't get out in time. It used to be next Johnny Murta horse, Radioburg. But might get that again. Needs a mile 1 or mile 2. And Aramax, that's twice it has won for us now. 9-2 and 7-2. So I think it would have got to the winner anyway, or not to the winner, the favourite fell, but I think the further we were going, the better we were going. I was saying last night, if it was 3-2, I'd be sweeter on it, but Meatloaf sang Once Upon a Time, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I seen there was a few comments to that effect. Mentioning of comments, a few newcomers on the bus. I didn't do this in a couple of weeks. So I've missed a few, and if I get you back in time, I'll mention you. Con Foley, and also Con, Steve, Anthony Hartley, Dave Fletch, Evan Mannion, William Murphy, Luke, Mike Moriarty, Kieran Barden, Smokey. Would that be the band? No, that was S-M-O-K-I-E. This is S-M-O-K-E-Y. Adam and Martin in Hamilton. Would they be twins or brothers or friends? I don't know. Bob in. Kevin won a good few pounds yesterday, he said. Darren Devlin. Davy Boy. Ronald Smith. Michael Feehan. Joseph Stevens. And best wishes to Bernard Neary, who is recovering in hospital after a fall, he said. I think Bernard is from Wicklow, if I remember correctly. When I sung the Wicklow Hills, he made a comment on it. You're all very welcome anyway, and hopefully we have a pretty decent week. It can be tough. With changes going. I'm looking 2 days ahead for horses now, so with changes to going, it can alter things. If that is the case, I'll mention it in the description. Horses that I might have picked, that I might just be less enthusiastic about them, or maybe more enthusiastic about them, if it happens. Anyway, tomorrow, Galway. First race is the Novice Hurl The last time favourite won this was Easy Game in 2018 for Willie Mullins. Willie Mullins 2 years ago was far out. Royal Eagle had a big price last year of 18-1 winner for Gordon Elliott. For a few years there was real hot favourites. Easy Game, La Richebourg, Motaz and Bacchusson, they were all hot favourites. And Diplomat was a hot favourite as well. Mystical Power is out of any power, and it's bred in the purple, being by Galileo. So it was 2-5 favourite when it won the bumper in Ballinrobe. You'd have to, I read somewhere that it was jumping all right. You'd have to expect it would, but I'm not tipping up a even money favourite. I go on form of what I've seen. So there's a line there through Samui, and it was done the business well enough last time in Tramore, and it jumped very well apart from it made a mistake 2 out. But on the line of form, I'll tell you about in a minute.
Continuing the downhill run, shortly to inside the final half mile for this Ballyduff Maiden hurdle. The 3 up front have been there since more or less the drop of the flag. Bojack on the inside, Dark Note on the outer. Between the two is the odds-on favourite Samui. Tonalaw tracks those in 4, and there looks to be a race between this quartet as they're clear, but a dozen lengths blend back to find Spy, who's in 5th, and behind that in 6th, trying to stay on his Aussie Warrior, but being pushed along to do so. Heading down inside the final 3 furlongs, 2 flights left to jump, and Samui now moves up on the inside to take over from Dark Note in 2nd. Tonalaw tries to cover the move in 3rd under Shane O'Callaghan. Bojack has dropped back into 4, and they're clear of Spy. Down to the second last, and it's Samui with Dark Note on the outside. Tonalaw chasing in 3rd. Samui made quite a bad mistake there, but doesn't lose that much momentum. Dark Note in 2nd, and Samui goes on by a couple of lengths as they come to the final flight. Samui and Keaton jump at 2 to 3 lengths in front, better over that one. Dark Note and Tonalaw in a battle for 2nd and 3rd, but it's Samui ridden out.
I like, even though it nearly fell, I like a horse when it does that, because it's willing and it's prepared to take. It's a sign of a good horse, I thought. But there's this Hypotenuse came from France to John McConnell, thrown in at the deep end in February, and to 2nd to Zinta in a grade 3. Then it was put up in Cheltenham, and the last day it ran in a maiden hurl, and it was beaten by Bojack. And if you look at Bojack, it was 5th in its previous run to that horse that we just looked at in the clip a few minutes ago, Samui. I know races can be different and ran different or whatever, but on a line through that, Samui would have the beating of Hypotenuse. So I'm only telling you what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to be backing Samui each way, even if it's 9-2, I don't mind. And I'm going to back it without the favourite as well. Is there any prices up for that? Yes. Without Mystical Power. Samui is 9-4, the other one is 5-4. So that's what I'll be doing. In the 740, we have a Handicap hurl. There's a horse here that let us down. Isn't it in this race? Never a dull moment. Remember the day we got beaten by a nose in Naas, wasn't it? Beaten by a nose. That was over 2 mile. He came out, left with a lot to do, but I was saying he needed a step up and trip. We backed him again the day it was 4th in Fairy House in April. Went to Novice hurl the last, but even though the hill will help, this is 2.5 miles a furlong. I just don't know about it. And I prefer to go on a horse at a big price. Largy Gift. I was impressed by this. It's a 14-1 shot in places, and it's 16th in places. This started off its career with Simon Crawford and to second Musselburgh in Bumper 2020. It went to an English trainer then that I don't know much about. He only has 8 lifetime winners in Meche. But the last day, when it got good to soft ground, it absolutely hosed up. And it was sold since then to Mark Fahey. And he likes to target horses for Galway. So I'm just trying to read between the lines that they bought this for Galway.
Comes Regal and Royal as they come to
That's him out in front there.
By Largy Gift, got all of these on the go. To in second place, Fortunate Fred. They've left the others a long way behind, led by Tip Top Tonto, but is an eternity back to the third as they now head towards 2 from the finish. Over in front, still Largy Gift, 5 lengths clear from Fortunate Fred in second. Then comes Tip Top Tonto in third with Regal and Royal. Falangine has found very little, heading towards the final flight, and Largy Gift is over again with a very big lead. 10 lengths clear from Fortunate Fred in second, then Tip Top Tonto, followed by Regal and Royal. Well, Largy Gift has made all the running under Jack Hogan and can saunter up towards the finishing line, easing down, and Largy Gift is off the mark for Jack Hogan.
Well, sometimes I don't go near a horse in a handicap hurl first time out because I don't know how well they're handicapped. But it's only rated 109 and Lee McKenna taking off 5, bringing it down to 104. If that could pop out in front tomorrow, you know, it could be hard pegged back at least for a place anyway. 16-1 and 14-1. They're paying 5 place and the Green Bookie is paying 6. One Cool Poet always runs well in Galway. That reserve there is the favourite, only a matter of time, so I don't know if that's going to get in or not. Darkened won it last year, but I to go for an outsider now and again when I'm not sure of anything up front. Never a dull moment for anyone that backed him before. Probably will get a place, you'd imagine, is 10-1 there with William Hill. On to the next. Maiden. This, well, we get down a bit here. Mythology is the favourite. That was touted up the last time as a dead cert up against Henry Longfella. It was 7 furlongs in soft ground. But I'm going against it and I'm going with Aiden's horse. It's a 5-2 shot there. Where are we here? This is in the Coolmore colours on the left-hand side. First time out.
Air Commander trying to challenge down the inside. Behind them is Latin as they head on with over a furlong to race. Coming through in the centre, Oligopoly over on the far side. Jolt over on the rail is Air Commander, and there in front of Mariner inside the final furlong, and Jolt has taken over from Air Commander. Oligopoly can do no more with less than 50 yards to race, pushed out by Andy Slattery. Jolt will win the opener from Air Commander.
They weren't that overly busy on that horse first time out. I'd say that'll improve for coming up the hill tomorrow. It's a half-brother to Fleeting, who's a decent enough horse. Was rated 114 at its peak. So well enough bred. So I'm going against Mythology, going with Air Commander. And then we go to the big one of the evening. The 640. It was won last year by Echoes in Rain. Patrick Mullins hadn't won it before, so he won it last year. He had been placed a few times. Dermot Well won it the year before with Coulter. Princess Zoe won it. The Great White Shark, Uradell, Whiskey Sour, Swamp Fox, all familiar names. Quick Jack won it as well. But last year's race was the first time we came across a lot of joy. And Patrick Mullins chooses it ahead of Scaramanga. And we went on a lot of joy then in the, I think we're back to the 10-1. It was third to Waterville in the, not the Cesarovich, Irish Cesarovich. Looked all over a winner, but Waterville proved best on the day. Won a maiden hurl. We'll just have a look at last year's. That's the horse there, Lot of Joy, and it gets boxed in and runs on. Echoes of Rain gets first run, so in a far better position. But it showed that it travels well on the track.
Moon after them with Maze Run and Dutch Schultz and Lot of Joy. They raced
with the yellow hat and the good
just
bit
over
back.
3 furlongs to go, and Fat Out has kicked on by a couple of lengths, being followed by Crown's Major. Taipan is struggling to keep position. They're followed by Maze Runner and Echoes and Rain, who received a bump from Coulter as they raced round the home turn. Just over 2 to go. It's Fat Out. Castmate has come out of the pack. Closing is Echoes and Rain. They're followed by Maze Runner, and Crown's Major is next with Dutch Schultz. They turn into the straight, a furlong left to go, and it's Castmate on the outside of Far Out, poised. Coming there is Echoes and Rain, then Maze Runner, Dutch Schultz and Lot of Joy racing to the final furlong. Echoes and Rain from on the outside, Maze Runner, then Castmate and Dutch Schultz, Lot of Joy, favourite Moon, but it's Echoes and Rain a couple of lengths in front as they run up towards the finish. Echoes and Rain is the one to rectify the omission of the Galway amateurs for Patrick Mullins.
Run on to before Echoes and Rain was a fairly well a shoe in that evening as of I think it's 88 was it, going on to win Grade 1 races afterwards. If the ground gets really bad tomorrow, I don't know with all the rain, HMS Seahorse likes a lot of cut on the ground, and even though it's a fine big horse, it's 20-1, it's 25 in places, and they're paying 5 and 6 places. But you can see when it won a handicap there in January of in a handicap hurl to soft ground, and it won yielding to soft, won its maiden hurl on soft ground. 5 pound claimer. I don't know much about him, but I'll see what price is it. $22-1, $20-1. If it gets really bad ground, even though it's carrying top weight, but teed up, that one for us last year is the favourite, and it's the Mees that own it, and they tell all their trainers, get our horses ready for Galway. They love to have the winner in Galway. It won for us last year on the Sunday. In on handicap hurl of 103, so I don't know that it was well handicapped that day because it's 85 now. It was second in the November handicap to Meteor. Remember that they were on Meteor at 10s, 1.5 miles heavy ground, so that'll relish the conditions as well tomorrow. So it has definitely a favourite's chance without a doubt. Short enough there at 3-1 though, but with the ground the way it is and being targeted for the race, you'd probably say it's the most likely winner at times. The reason I'm tipping up a Lot of Joy is we're back to before won us a few pound, and we'd call it the buzz horse, and the outsider then would be the top weight. But I wouldn't stop anyone from backing teed up. We know that it's geared for the day. The handicap race at 7:15. I came down on the top weight, bin cone riding for Kieran Murphy. If you look at the form of this horse, it looks like it was targeted for this meeting. It ran in a good maiden in October in Galway last year, and Paris Secret won it. Paris Secret, I think, is rated 91. It's rated 100 now, but that's out in Delmare. Went out to America, but it was rated 91 before it went. And the horse that was second, I think, we'll talk about it again in a few minutes, but the last time this horse ran, that's it in 5th place coming round the turn for home in Ballinroe with the white
And the
hat.
top weight strikes the front. Booyah takes over from Port Great and Status Green. Running off to Ben Lat, Tulipe Noire, and then Malacan, who's dropped ground out of Shamus, Dada Lasney and Susie Woozy. Racing for the home straight, and it's Booyah from Port Great trying to renew her effort, followed by Status Green. Whipping round the outside is Lat, Tulipe Noire as they straighten with a furlong to go. It's Booyah from Lat, Tulipe Noire and Status Green in between them. Shaking off the attentions of Port Great, it's Booyah from Tulipe Noire, who's trying to throw down the last challenge, but it's Booyah driven out by Gavin Ryan with the fight top weight. And
It went up £3 for that, but it looks like just targeted. Rumble King will love the going as well. That one on heavy ground before. There's a potential fly in the ointment. I don't know how it's going to work. Is that Quantum Light? First run for Andy Slattery. But it caught my eye first time out against Cloquet in Ascot last year. It was 3rd. But it has yet to win. But I don't know how about the ground, because the time Quantum had ran on soft ground, it wasn't that hectic. But a 7 furlong, if the ground is a good bit of cut in it tomorrow, that Tulipe Noire ran over a mile and a furlong before. So it'll be staying on. Whether it'll be good enough to be in the money, I hope it will, and maybe grab a win for us. But what price is it? 15 to 2, 7 to 1. It's an each way play there at 4 places. There's a long time at it. The bus horse running here. Now, somebody asked in the question or in the comments, what is a bus horse? A bus horse, I qualify them as that we've tipped and backed and won for us the last time. And so we stay loyal to it. It's first time in a handicap for Voice of Reason. But the extra furlong on the uphill finish shouldn't be a problem. The going, if it stays as it is, should be okay. Went off 11 to 8 favourite. It opened up 7 to 2 actually the night before. This is it out in front, and it gets sort of into bother, but it rallies again and wins up on the rail. It's in the pink.
On the inside, the Great Kingdom. In between them is Golden Temple with Ultra Fine making headway in the centre, the pink cap, followed by Eastmore, and they're followed by Cosmic Lady. It is Voice of Reason who strikes the front, racing to the final furlong, but now challenged by Ultra Fine and Eastmore, giving way on the inside, Golden Temple and then Night Glow. 150 to go. Eastmore is battling it out with Ultra Fine and Voice of Reason on the inside. It's a line of 3 as they go towards the line. Voice of Reason on the inside, in my eyes.
So Dunn's favour will stay loyal to it. There's one horse in that race as well that I think is worth a mention, an each way bet for anyone that likes the horse. It was 12s earlier. Is Astar. The reason being, it was in that Maiden last year in Galway. It was second to that Paris Secret who was sold on to America. So it likes the going. It won't be a problem, and it ran well enough the last day. When it was second, so Weld likes to target these races. So I will check the price of that. I'll be quicker tomorrow night. Or else the next morning. I'm going to Galway tomorrow, so I don't know what time I'll be home at. It won't be as long because I've Goodwood to do. Star is 12 to 1 there with 365. That's a good bet each way, I'd imagine. And then on to the bumper. This was won last year by a horse first time out for the Mees and Hamish Mullins, wasn't it? It was, yeah. This song is for you. Joseph O'Brien won the year before and Gordon Elliott. There's a horse here that opened up 4 to 1 earlier. Shoot Champagne. I think this is a plot job. Trained by Charles Burns. He's owned by the Dubai Cowboy Syndicate. They will be the crowd that would own Shoot first as well. and it got a little prep run the last day for this. That's my reading of it.
Beaufort Storm making ground just in behind the lead as they swing into the straight inside the final
With
three
the white stars on the green sleeves, heading for the far side.
Towards the near side, Beaufort Storm coming there strongly for David Doyle. They're followed by Fulfur and Josh Williamson. Behind those Dream Shapers staying off in the back of the field ahead of Shoot Champagne, but it's a race inside the final. Furlong and a half if Beaufort Storm has come through on the outside to lead now. From on the far side, Money to Burn and Paddy Hanlon. Fulfur is in third, but racing down inside the final furlong. It's Beaufort Storm was kicked on, gone 2 to 3 lengths in front. Fulfur giving chase in second as the race inside the final 150. It's Beaufort Storm from Fulfur, 2 lengths between them as the race up towards the line, and Beaufort Storm is going to hold the advantage to the line. Beaufort Storm the winner from Fulfur in second. In third, behind.
I was looking at the video of Willie has one in it, right? My Great Mate. It opened up, I think, to 7 to 4 there. It's on the drift. That has come in for support, Shoot Champagne. Artigail's first time out as well. But the prep run for that, the opening bumper of the meeting, looks like to be a plot job. I'd make that my nap of the day. I'll be quicker tomorrow night. I'm on too long there tonight. Have a good week, everyone. Bash the Bookies over and out.